The Cambridge Union Society, commonly referred to as the Cambridge Union or the Union, is a debating society in Cambridge, England, and the largest society at the University of Cambridge. It is the oldest continuously running debating society in the world. Additionally, the Cambridge Union has served as a model for the foundation of similar societies at several other prominent universities, including the Oxford Union, Student Afton, Sidney's Union Club and the Yale Political Union. The Union is a private society with membership open to all students of Cambridge University or Anglia Ruskin University, and is completely separate from the Cambridge University Students' Union. The Union became a registered charity in May 2010, and entered into a 3-year partnership with professional service providers Deloitte in November 2013. The Union has hosted political and other figures in its chamber, both state and international-based, including the Dalai Lama, President Ronald Reagan, Professor Germaine Greer, Prime Ministers Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher, and Clint Eastwood. Speakers from the 21st century include academics Richard Dawkins and Rowan Williams, former British Prime Ministers John Major, former President of Pakistan Pervez Musharraf, comedian Dara O'Brien, civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, Olympic legend Lord Coe, comedian and activist Russell Brand, and actor Sir Ian McKellen. History of the Union. The Cambridge Union was founded on 13 February 1815. Several years after it was founded, on 24 March 1817, the Union was temporarily shut down by the university. In 1821 the society was allowed to reform, under strict guidelines. The Union's Bridge Street premises were designed by Alfred Waterhouse and formally opened on 30 October 1866. An additional wing was added several decades later. The future radical liberal politician, Sir Charles Dilke, was the president chiefly responsible for construction. Included among the building's many rooms are the debating chamber, a dining room, bar, snooker room, the Keynes Library and various offices. Although Cambridge escaped virtually undamaged from the widespread bombing destruction of World War II, the Union's building was hit by a bomb dropped during one attack. The explosion caused extensive damage to the Society's library. Modern developments. The Union is legally a self-funded society that owns and has full control over its private property and buildings in the Cambridge city centre. It enjoys strong relations with the university, and allows other student societies to hire rooms for a nominal cost. Guests are sometimes admitted to Union events for a charge. After more than 200 years, the Cambridge Union is best known for its debates, which often receive national and international media attention. The top members of its debating team compete internationally against other top debating societies. The Union also organizes talks by visiting speakers and a wide array of events throughout the academic year. The Cambridge Union is sometimes confused with the Cambridge University Students' Union, the student representative body set up in 1971. Consequently, the term "President of the Union" may cause confusion. Although the Cambridge Union Society has never functioned as a students' union in the modern sense, it did briefly affiliate to the UK's National Union of Students in 1924. The union became an incorporated charity in May 2010 and entered into a 30-month partnership with professional service providers Deloitte in November 2013 in order to address increasingly high running costs, addressing concerns that such support would jeopardize the Society's independence. The union stated, "Deloitte will not be choosing the speakers at debate motions, and the union will remain a society dedicated to free speech, which prioritizes its members' interests." In 2015, the union celebrated its bicentenary. A committee composed of former and current officers was put together to organize a range of events to mark the occasion. This included special debates, dinners and parties in Cambridge and, for the first time in its history, in London. 2016 redevelopment project. In January 2015, the union announced a £9.5 million refurbishment project to begin in late 2016 to address major structural problems and to expand existing facilities, subject to approval by planners, to include a new wine bar on the ground floor and a jazz and amp comedy club in the basement. It also announced a plan to use the revenue generated from the new building to reduce membership fees to make the union more accessible to students from lower-income backgrounds, and to increase the size of its competitive debating activities for disadvantaged children and students. The development is to be partially financed through the leasing of disused parts of its site to Trinity College in a deal worth £4.5 million. The project concluded its public consultation phase in March 2016, and the union announced that it hopes to break ground between November 2016 and January 2017. Gallery. Membership of the Society. The Cambridge Union receives no formal funding from the university and raises funds for event expenses and building maintenance through membership fees and sponsorship. Membership is open to students at the University of Cambridge and Anglia Ruskin University. Members are able to bring guests to certain functions provided that the guests would not be allowed to purchase membership. Social events and events organized by external bodies are occasionally open to the public, with discounts for union members. The union launched online membership in late 2015, which allowed any student around the world access to live streams of events for an annual subscription. Honorary Members. The Society awards honorary memberships to particularly distinguished individuals. Honorary members of the union include past speakers and debates. The union puts on a wide variety of events for its members, but is best known for its Thursday night debates and individual speaker events. In both of these, leading figures from public life are invited to discuss something of interest to the membership. One of the union's most famous debates in recent years was between Richard Dawkins and Rowan Williams in February 2013 on the motion, "This House believes religion has no place in the 21st century," which was rejected by the assembled members. The union's debates regarding religion have also created several controversial incidents, including in October 2014, when Peter Hitchens, speaking in favor of the motion "This House regrets the rise of new atheism," appeared to break the rules of the House by physically intimidating Baron Desai after a heated exchange. Individual speakers have included British Prime Ministers Winston Churchill, Clement Attlee, Margaret Thatcher and John Major, US Presidents Theodore Roosevelt and Ronald Reagan, the first Prime Minister of India Jawaharlal Nehru, German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, Australian Prime Minister John Howard, the first democratically elected President of Iraq Jalal Talabani, Libyan dictator Muammar al-Gaddafi, the last President of Apartheid-era South Africa F.W. de Klerk, spiritual leader of Tibet the Dalai Lama, academic Germaine Greer, economist Ha-Joon Chang, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, actors Brian Blessed, Bradley Whitford, Judi Dench, Clint Eastwood, Roger Moore and Bill Nye, former head of the IMF Dominique Strauss-Kahn, chat show host Jerry Springer, actress and model Pamela Anderson, magician David Elizabeth Blaine, and most recently, comedian and political activist Russell Brand, American civil rights activist Jesse Jackson, and second person to walk on the moon Buzz Aldrin. A more complete list of past speakers is listed on the website. Governance. The Cambridge Union Society is an organization that was founded and is headed by students. Each term is planned and carried out by a mixture of elected officers and appointed student staff, with support from the organization's non-student staff and trustees. The governance of the Cambridge Union is mandated by its constitution. Standing Committee. Standing Committee is the Union's primary managerial body of 13 members, which consists of the current President, Vice President and officers, the President-elect and officers-elect, and the debating officers. All officers of the Union are elected by its membership on a termly basis, with the exception of the Vice President and 2 debating officers, who are appointed on an annual basis. Officers of the Union are elected a term in advance, allowing them to serve 1 term as an officer-elect to prepare for the following term into office. Termly elected officers serve a term as officer-elect, during which time they are members of Standing Committee. Full Committee. During every term, Standing Committee appoints a variety of positions within the Society, including the Secretary, Head of Event Management, Head of Publicity, Head of Audiovisual and Head of Press, amongst others. They are collectively referred to as Full Committee or just appointees and are responsible for the day-to-day running of the Society. The Trustees. The Board of Trustees, currently chaired by Lord Chris Smith, is responsible for overseeing the long-term development of the Union's finances and property. Whilst the trustees are not intimately involved with the day-to-day running of the Society, they maintain ultimate legal responsibility for the organization, its assets and status as a registered charity, to maintain the link between the student management and the trustees. The President and Vice President of the Union are traditionally appointed as trustees for the duration of the term into office. Review Committee. The Review Committee of the Cambridge Union is a committee of former officers appointed by Standing Committee under the guidance of the Vice President. It is responsible for handling all disciplinary matters of the Society and may also be called upon to adjudicate on electoral malpractice. No member of Review Committee may serve as an elected officer for the duration of the term. Staff. In addition to these posts, the Society also maintains an employed staff consisting of a bursar, responsible for overseeing the long-term health of the Society, office managers and a bar manager. The Society also holds contracts for catering, cleaning, building maintenance, property management, IT services and legal advice. Members of staff are employed by the Union's subsidiary Events Company. The President, Vice President, Bursar and other trustees appointed on an ad hoc basis serve as directors of the company. Past officers. Notable past presidents and officers include, in addition to the long list of real-life distinguished individuals that served as officers of the Cambridge Union during the time in Cambridge, Will Bailey, a fictional character on The West Wing, a U.S. television drama series, claimed to have been a former president of the Cambridge Union on a Marshall Scholarship, as well as Mackenzie McHale, a fictional character in the hit U.S. series, The Newsroom Constitution. The Cambridge Union was famous within the university for having a very long and complicated constitution. It is a common rumor that the Constitution is longer than the entire Constitution of Canada. This was in fact untrue, but only just. A quick count puts the old Union Constitution in question at 31,309 words, while the complete Constitution of Canada is 31,575 words long. If the university's rules on single transferable voting are included, then this constitution was indeed longer than that of Canada. These rules are referenced within this old constitution, but are not contained. By comparison, the rules of the Oxford Union Society total over 45,000 words, not including the standing orders and schedules, recordings and streaming. YouTube. On the 9th of May 2011, the Union launched its online public video service CUS Connect, whereby recordings of past events and interviews were uploaded for free viewing. These have since been transferred to the Society's YouTube channel titled the Cambridge Union Society. Before 2014, the Union only occasionally live-streamed popular events, with the first ever live stream held on the 12th of May 2011, in which Stephen Fry debated Radio 1 DJ Kissy Sellout on the motion, "This House believes that classical music is irrelevant to today's youth." Members streaming service. As part of its bicentennial celebrations in 2015, the Union launched a permanent live streaming service, to be integrated with a new automatic multi-camera rig in the main chamber. The new service includes the ability for virtual attendees to contribute to debates via questions and comments to be read out on the floor of the Union. The streaming service is hosted on the Union's website and is available only to members of the Society. Controversy. Hosting of speakers. The Cambridge Union, like its Oxford counterpart, is no stranger to controversy over its choice of speakers. Protests have been arranged by students against the appearance of University's Minister David Willett's Government Minister Eric Pickles, during which the building was broken into. Former IMF chief Dominique Strauss-Kahn, Marine Le Pen and WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Most recently, the hosting of Germaine Greer caused a public row between the Union and the Cambridge Students' Union's LGBT+ group, due to Greer's alleged trans-misogyny towards Rachel Padman. The LGBT+ group continues to boycott all LGBT+ events at the Cambridge Union, having declared it to no longer represent a safe space. Responding to these criticisms, the Union is often quoted as upholding the universal right to free speech, against the principles of no platform passed by the National Union of Students and upheld by a few groups within Cambridge. 2015 Counter-Terrorism Bill, lobbying by former Union Presidents Lord Deben and Lord Lamont, resulted in the specific exclusion of the Cambridge and Oxford Unions from the government's counter-terrorism bill, amid fears it could restrict free debate. Deben argued that the provisions within the bill would have prevented the hosting of British Union of Fascists leader Oswald Mosley in the 1950s, concluding that the bill threatened an essential British value. The National Union of Students used the exclusion to argue that the passage of the bill was too rapid and ill thought out, whilst both the Oxford and Cambridge Union reaffirmed that they were not legally part of the respective universities and thus were never subject to the bill in the first place. Strong opposition to the bill from Liberal Democrats and senior Conservative peers eventually resulted in the shelving of provisions regarding universities until after the 2015 general election. The Counter-Terrorism and Security Act 2015 eventually clarified that higher education institutions must retain particular regard to the duty to ensure freedom of speech and the importance of academic freedom within university societies, although it is unclear whether this applies to the Union. Referendum on Julian Assange. The Union called a referendum on the hosting of Julian Assange on the 22nd of October 2015, arguing that his residency in the Ecuadorian embassy meant he was outside the jurisdiction of UK law, and thus required the consultation of its members, considering a lack of past precedent. The referendum passed with 76.9% of the vote. Turnout was 1463.